Well, welcome to Offsite Dirt. There's four folks in front of you, and we're all friends in the construction industry. And there's various regions represented today. You'll find out more as we progress through the show. But welcome to High Performance Build. My name is Mark Wille, and currently I'm in the Midwest, and I'm passing it over this way.
Well, I'm hoping that is over to me. I'm Shaun St-Amour in Vancouver, Canada, over on the West Coast, where it's t-shirt weather, even though we're at the end of December, where you think we'd be in our parkas. It's pretty warm here in Vancouver. Very interesting times. And I'm going to pass it over to that person down there.
I'm going to take a stab
I'm
at that, but that's me. I have no idea because Shaun's actually over there. But Aron Jones, I'm a carpenter and a builder on Grand Manan Island in New Brunswick, Canada. And I am temporarily sans beard today, but I am just grateful to be hanging out with these fine gentlemen and talking high performance. If you know, you know.
That leaves me, and I don't know where I'm at on this screen, but I'm here with you all. I'm Sy Safi with Uber Green Spaces, and I am today somewhere in Kentucky. Next week, somewhere in Texas. But I am a CPHC and a CPHB. We do development, building, prefab, and all the fun stuff that, with a PH, keeps us all interested. This here is a project in Louisville, Kentucky, and it's done by myself and my three other partners in a group, development group that we started 4 years ago called Reland Group. And so our focus as a development group, and we don't like to call ourselves developers, we like to call ourselves community builders, because we do take a different approach to development by implementing placekeeping and placemaking strategies and initiatives. So this is a community-led development in many ways. What you saw there in that video is a 17-acre brownfield site. And so basically it's a piece of land that's disadvantaged because of the hazardous waste from the previous company that was there making chemicals. And to get that site into a level playing field with other sites out there that might be vacant, we have to do some hazardous material cleanup. So we're doing a phase 3 environmental cleanup on it, and all that machinery you see there, we have to remove the soil that's there, it's contaminated, and take it to a approved landfill to where it could be somewhere safe and away from folks. And the fact that we are planning to build multifamily, affordable multifamily there, passive house, certified and designed, is how we're approaching it. That requires us to take all of it out. So we can't by law cap that per se. As if it was a commercial building, then we could say go down about maybe 4 or 5 feet, cap it with some sort of membrane. But since there will be residences there and children, then we have to remove all of it, and we have to bring it back up with good material.
Wow, crazy project. But I mean, what I see is that train. And of course, anytime you're going to be putting people living near a train, you want to have really good windows, a really good envelope. And of course, that screams Pascal's principles. And that's your bread and butter. So great to see that you're incorporating that, and love the language you're using about being a community developer. Sounds like you guys are doing this project the way we're all supposed to be doing projects.
It's definitely a different approach. It takes a little more time to do it, but it's quite rewarding in the sense that you really do bring out the people in the community that care. And there's so many more people there than you would ever imagine. They come out and they get behind you for this. But then when you empower community, so we did create a community advisory board out of it. And so when you do empower that community, you get to learn the true, real challenges of what that community is dealing with. And then it gets to inform your design in a manner that could actually improve everyone's lives there. And actually, you know, they say all boats rise, you know, in a scenario like this, you have that, but there's also opportunities for us to create jobs with the prefab walls that we're going to do with Uber Green, and you know, also on-site work with whatever has to happen up there. So there's more opportunities, bring more people in the high performance building trades.
I think one key thing you said there, Sy, is it takes a little longer, but you're only doing it once. So if you only do it one time, it actually doesn't take longer. What takes longer is if you have to do it 2 or 3 times. So
Yeah.
doing it once, right?
That's what my
That's the
dad
way,
taught me.
man.
Interestingly, you're right, Aaron. You know, my dad taught me that when I was learning carpentry from him at a young age. He said, "Do it right the first time; you'll never have to do it again." That just always has stuck with me.
Yeah.
And he just gave me a great memory from my father.
The brownfields are interesting because there may or may not have been a hazardous product left behind. It could just be a pollutant, right? So there's different capacities, and based on how the site is being developed, you have to take it down to certain measures. So in this particular case, how far did you guys have to go down?
That's a great question. So the testing that was done, we had several test borings done around the site, and we identified where all the hot spots were. Around some of that perimeter of that 6 acres that we're working on now. The 11 acres will come at another time, but the 6 acres we're working on now, I'd say around the perimeter of that was about 4 feet. And then as it went more towards the inner part of that parcel, it got down to 6 and then got down to 10 feet in some areas. And so it's not as bad as some areas in the 11-acre site for what we need to do later. But overall, as we had removed that material, you can see just a nice clean soil left behind, and a great base clay base that we're able to build off and work off of.
Awesome.
So, Sy,
I'm curious, Sy.
are you starting, like, are you like in your projects, do you dig down and start working up to deal with parquets and that? Or do you guys typically just start on flat and work up and don't have to worry about digging, but had to dig because of the site conditions?
Yeah, in this scenario, like, we had to dig because of site conditions, and at the same time, we were in parallel working on schematic design of the site, and we applied for the low income housing tax credits in the state of Kentucky while we were doing this cleanup, and we were just trying to find this right finished floor level height and all that, and while the guys are now out there building it up with good materials, we're now trying to find with our design team where's the right spot to stop them, because their scope of work is a little higher. In this scenario, we'll have it tested, we'll get the geotech out there and design the rest of the building accordingly. But we will probably be digging spread footings, like grade beam footings. You know, we're Uber Green is, you know, at least like our input gets put in there on the whole design, and you know, with the passive house consultants that we have hired.
Great.
It was in 1995 here in the States that the EPA enacted that land revitalization program, right? So it's still new, and these case studies allow the areas that often were blessed by what was there before to be reinvigorated. And so the part that I like is that you included that community conversation, because a lot of the folks probably worked in that very spot or had an uncle, aunt that passed by there on a bus or something along those ways. And so there's oftentimes developed infrastructure that came from what was there, and so everything else expands from it as we add the developments of our streets and not just the housing format, but the stores that accompanied that industry often. So to see that cycle back around, you'll often find it, like Shaun said, this is by a rail yard, because the rail yards delivered stuff to the factories, and then from the factories that either went back out on rail or back out on truck. And so you find these prime locations, and for that to have a cyclical format, I think there's nothing better. I don't know the same portion that you guys have in Canada, but this is called our EPA, and that's the revitalization program. And we'll make sure that those links get in the description for y'all when you're watching this. In case you haven't heard of it and don't use the Google machine, we'll make sure it's in there.
Sy, will
Yeah.
we've got a couple seconds left. Just let us know what we expect in the future here. We'll have to check in with you as you're coming out of the ground.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're working on that technical set to turn in to Kentucky Housing Corporation so that we meet the deadlines of schedule. And we were actually working with a modular company to see how we can do it modular. But that didn't work out the way that we wanted it to.
You got some land clearing to do. Then what's next steps with this project?
We're going to keep the design going. Obviously, we're in DD stages, and we're going to further develop the drawings and run it through WUFI. So we haven't done that yet. We've done a lot of rules of thumb for climate zone 4A on our wall details, and then we're going to bring up that site since we've taken out most all the bad soils.
Yeah.
Sent it to improved landfill. We'll be bringing it up with good soil and compaction, and you're spot on. You guys are all spot on about the benefits and what passive house is going to do here, especially by that train track.
Yeah, such a great location. Fantastic. So the next time we probably connect, you'll have more info of the plan. Because again, you're working on 6 acres out of the 17.
17, yeah.
Amazing.
And so the next remaining 11, at some point we're talking to different people that can use it. The community would love to see a school there. They would love to see, there is a nonprofit food bank that might go there. So we got a lot of great things in the works here that's coming up.
Wow, great site. And again, great that you guys are starting off on the right foot of putting people where they need to be. Affordable housing is a big issue everywhere. But able to make sure that they're going to be in a comfortable, healthy, energy efficient building is fantastic. And like you said, you guys are community builders, and this community is under development. So excellent. All right, Sy. Well, thank you for joining us again. If you, I hope you enjoy this episode with Sy Safi, Uber Green Spaces. I'm Shaun St-Amour. You did see earlier on Mark and Aron. So thank you very much for being here for Offsite Dirt, high performance build. We'll see you next time.